Rachel, good morning. How can I help?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. So what's going on?
So about almost 3 years ago, I placed a little girl up for adoption. It is an open adoption, but I guess I'm going through that. I'm kind of processing it now to where I'm going through that, I guess you would say, trauma, and I don't really know how to get through it.
Yeah.
Because she's getting older.
She's getting more of a personality and becoming more of a person to interact with, huh?
Yeah. We still talk like once a week, but I mean, I just don't know how to have those interactions without letting her, I guess, live her own life with her adoptive family.
So paint me a picture of what that struggle's like.
So we'll maybe have a call once a week. We'll talk about how her day is, how she's doing with school, stuff like that. And then, she'll go about her day. But then whenever that phone call ends, I kind of have this, I guess, this disconnection, and then this kind of emptiness,
And that's okay, right?
Yeah, I do.
And
I mean, I'm real close to the adoptive parents, but...
Are they doing a great job?
Oh, they're doing an amazing job. Amazing.
So how young were you when you got pregnant?
21.
21? And what set you on the path to make the courageous decision to adopt your baby out?
Oh, I wasn't ready, and I knew that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not ready. And this family I placed her with, they had been trying for over 10 years. So it was absolutely time, and I knew they were perfect. But I guess it's kind of just getting to that point of, I'm just preparing myself for that question of, why didn't you want me kind of thing.
Yeah. One thing I'd recommend you do that would be a great, great gift to this baby, and not only this baby, but this kid, and not only this kid, but this young woman, and not only this young woman, but this future mother someday herself, is if you began to honor yourself and honor her by writing down your experiences and keeping really detailed journal notes for her. Because one day, you're right, she's going to come and say, "Hey, Mom, how come?" And 10 years from now, you're not going to have as good an answer as you did 3 years ago, right? But if you've got a journal, a serial series, right, of I miss you, and I'm so grateful you're in the place you're supposed to be, and your parents were incredible, and I wasn't ready. And one day she will recognize the courageous, gangster, awesome mother that you are, in that you knew enough to know that the best thing for her was to give her to a great, wonderful family who had the scope and the means to raise her. And open adoptions are beautiful, and they are really, really hard because these are uncharted waters, right? We're not used to this. But I also want you to honor the fact that you know that you did the right thing, and this also sucks. And one thing that we don't do good as a society is to live in this tension of it's got to be either awful or really great, and this is just a middle road, right? Where it's going to be this bittersweet joy and excitement, and also really hard and really frustrating. Do you have somebody in your life that you can be open with?
I do.
How do those conversations go?
It's normally with my sister. She's the one who was there and read me the adoption papers that I signed in the hospital. And that she's been through everything with me. But she's open with them. She actually talks to the adoptive parents too, and so we have really great communication.
Yeah, they sound wonderful. So what's something that brings you joy these days?
I mean, it's probably talking to her once a week.
Really?
That's probably it.
So I want you to spend more time talking to her on pen and paper, or open up a Word document and just start writing. And one of the greatest gifts you will give her one day is knowing that she's not alone and she's not crazy. And that she will have a play-by-play of how much her birth mother truly loved her. She will have the connective experience of her adoptive family that raised her and loved her. And there could be a moment here when she's 18, 19, 20, 21, when she gets to just be showered by love that some of us may never get to experience. She's going to have two moms that love her more than life itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, it may become time when you have to protect yourself. And if you're not healthy for her, then letting her know we're going to talk every other week. Or every other week.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at, because I don't really know where that line is between I want you to be with your adoptive family, but I kind of want you to make your own decision as to whether I'm in your life or not.
Right. And for a 3-year-old, that's not fair because she's 3.
Yeah.
For a 10-year-old, that's not fair. For a 21-year-old, that's fair. And so if you don't feel like you're in a place where you can honor that relationship, and I say honor it, it's messy and it's hard, but that you can connect with her and she knows you and it's well. But if you're doing it just to fulfill you, that can be really hard on her.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe practice, see what it's like to do every 2 weeks. See what it's like to do every 3 weeks. You're playing a marathon here, so if you miss a week, you miss a week, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to undermine or, not undermine's the wrong word. I don't want to minimize, okay? But I'll just tell you this experience. My wife is an extraordinary scholar and researcher, and she was asked to come work at a school for a few weeks in Brazil when my son was, I think he was 3, or maybe he was 4. And so I went with her, and I brought him. And my son and I were in São Paulo, outside of São Paulo, Brazil, and we had 2 weeks of just father-son time, and we were in the parks, and went to these weird places where he got to ride donkeys into the jungle, and toucans were like flying around, and we pulled mangoes and avocados off of trees. I mean, it was extraordinary. It was a once-in-a-lifetime trip. Me and my son in the jungle with meeting wonderful people, eating new foods. And he's 10 now, and he remembers not 1 second of that trip at all. None.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tell you that to tell you this. If you are working on your heart in this deal, if you are working on, I want to see if I can go 2 weeks. I want to see if I can go a month between these conversations. I need to begin to let go of the reins because I feel my grip is getting tighter and tighter, and that tight grip is going to hurt her. She's going to know you loved her. She's going to be able to read that journal you're going to be writing. She's going to be loved by her adoptive family, and she's not going to remember that mom missed a week once or that mom went from every week to every month. She's not going to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
You will, but she won't.
Yeah.
Do you have any other kids?
No, I do not.
Okay. When you have your next kid, one day, it will be hard then too. I think instead of your sister, or in addition to your sister, I think it'd be wise for you, Rachel, to get a counselor just to talk through it. Because I think that the separation part is going to be hard here, especially as you're 24, 25, 26, you're coming to into your own. You have full-time employment, you meet somebody, and you get a stable home. It's going to be harder and harder. And I think having somebody that will navigate this, not just as your sister, she's great, good person to be vulnerable with, but having someone that can teach you some skills on how to take care of yourself, your heart and mind in this thing, I think that would be really awesome.